Welcome to Two Across, the podcast where two friends on opposite sides of the Atlantic catch up over a crossword. I'm Theo in London.
And I'm Rob, back in Montreal.
Welcome home, Rob.
Thank you, Theo, and happy birthday, my friend.
God bless you. Yes, it was yesterday, and so I'm now on the other side of the 42 Rubicon. So, yeah, well and truly a 40-something now. There's no getting around it.
No, you're in it. It's an interesting decade.
It's an interesting decade, and obviously a double celebration for me yesterday, because not only did I get to mark my birthday, but it was also the inauguration of Donald Trump. So
your favorite orange politician.
Yeah, absolutely. My absolute favourite tangerine fascist. So that was a really fun event to witness on my birthday. It really made it go with a pop. So
did you witness it? Did you take it in?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't bear to watch him revel in his own circus. So I just watched the very, very tail end of his speech and got that little sort of frisson of him acting like he's stoned, you know? The way he's like, hey, we're going to make everything so great and so good, and it's going to be the best 4 years in American history and all of that. And you're like, what have you been taking? I mean, on a serious note, what is in that man's water? Because it doesn't sound right.
I think he has the last of this great stash of Quaaludes that was washing over America in the 70s. Which apparently you can't get Quaaludes. Apparently they don't make them anymore. But I think Trump has secured a stockpile and he uses them liberally.
That's why you can't get them, because he's got them all.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the whole thing just feels like a parallel universe. I've made this analogy before, probably many times on this podcast, but it is that feeling of being the boy in the crowd of the Emperor's New Clothes who's just shouting, guys, he's naked and there's nothing there, and this is all a fabrication, a tissue of lies, and you seem to be cheering for it. And we've now been in that position for so long that we're not shouting anymore. Like there's no point, because nobody is listening, or rather those who are have also given up shouting. So all you're left to do is kind of turn your back on the whole thing and somehow try and pretend that like it's not happening. But
the little boy has been called a libtard and then kicked in the nuts and fallen into the gutter, and now the parade is going by and covering him with mud. I believe that would extend your analogy to its present iteration. Yes,
I think that is a much more accurate analogy. It's not that we've willingly turned our backs; it's that we've forcibly turned our backs or bent double in pain because we've been winded by said kick in the nuts. But anyway, let's talk cheerier subjects, or possibly not cheerier subjects, because I was going to ask how your journey home was from Spain.
Oh yeah, the journey home was good. I got back. It all went according to schedule and plan, and arrived back here in early time, which was nice. And I spent the last week just sort of managing my emotions, as I parented 3 children on my own in January in Montreal. I'm still here. I'm still alive. Isabel got back Sunday from Spain from her jaunt with her friends. So, there was no massive family breakdown. And
well, that's good. And tell me, was there any better sound than when that door latch went and Isabel walked through the door and you felt suddenly like, you know, a soldier who's the reserve company has arrived to relieve you, and you can now take off to your camp and get some much needed R&R?
I think there's a sort of period between the immediate realization that the reinforcements are here and then actually internalizing the fact that you can sort of drop the ambient level of stress a couple of notches. I think that takes a few hours to fully internalize, but it was nice. I think it was this morning when someone else was cleaning the counters in the kitchen as I ate my breakfast, and I thought, holy crap, what is this magic thing? Like I became a sort of domestic robot in the kitchen, just slaving. And of course, anyone who's an older listener who may have been a domestic member of a partnership, a marriage, would laugh at me right now and say, you sucker. Yeah, look what women have been going through for hundreds, if not thousands of years, but certainly, well, maybe not, depends on the society. But hundreds of years in the Occidental countries, and you get a week and you're reduced to a jellified mess, and they're quite right.
I remember feeling that particularly during the pandemic when my other half was going off to the front lines of the NHS and I was at home attempting to homeschool my oldest child whilst concurrently caring for a baby who was rapidly turning into a toddler, and having a definite feeling of empathy with those housewives of yore who used to get hysteria, that sort of Victorian phenomenon. It's like, why are these ladies going so hysterical? Why are they, what on earth have they got to complain about? Oh, this is what they're complaining about.
And unlike you, they didn't have Quaaludes back then. So luckily you had that ready supply to get you through the pandemic.
Only absinthe, possibly, or whatever they may have been.
Laudanum.
Possibly. Laudanum, yes. Now, Rob, to sort of balance up our anti-Trump rhetoric, I felt we should. So I am now straddling the two social media spheres of both Twitter and Blue Sky, or X, I should probably say. But I really can't bring myself to say that, especially seeing as its owner did an actual fascist salute yesterday. Did you see that?
I saw it, yeah, and I saw the outrage about it. Nothing gets me riled up with that crowd anymore, and Lord knows. It was interesting. It was. I
mean, there was a lot of weird sort of physicality ahead of that, I felt. Like, what is it about contemporary fascists and their inability to dance? It's extraordinary. Like, they can't move their arms in any motion other than this weird kind of, like, Trump does his, like, fist pumping thing, and Musk was doing this, like, weird sort of malfunctioning robot, and then suddenly just went into these two, not one but two, fascist salutes. And like, however you wrap that up, they were fascist salutes. Whether he intended them to be or not, who knows? But that's what spontaneously came to him in that moment, which is in itself is very revealing. And anyway, I just like the whole spectacle of it is so weird. But getting back to the point, I straddle both networks because I feel I should retain a sort of foot in both camps. And I saw a post on Blue Sky which I thought would prompt a little bit of interesting preamble discussion. It just really struck me as a statement to make. And the statement was this: the worst animal is better than the best human. Okay? That's the statement.
Right.
My immediate reaction was just to think, no, that obviously that's complete nonsense, because what's the worst imaginable animal? Like what can we think of? Like some sort of, because you could either go for, I guess, like a massive ferocious predator that just kills everything in sight, or you could go for something at the opposite end of the spectrum, a kind of swamp dwelling amoeba, I suppose. And then as the best human, you'd probably have to hold up, like, I don't know, David Attenborough or someone, or Gandhi or someone
Mother
doing
Teresa.
Great works in very understated ways that I can't name because they're so good and egotistical. But anyway, you put those two side by side, and I mean, can you really say that the flesh-ripping predator is better than the charitable Gandhi example that I've mentioned? Give me your views.
Okay, I got like a million ways that this could go. The first is it's a matter of scale and the fact that we're a coordinated species, and so the damage we can do is exponentially larger because we can do it at scale, and nowadays because we can mechanize it. And actually, I want to come back on something I listened to yesterday in a second. But the other thing is, I think the worst animal is the one that's out of its habitat and becomes invasive. And the ecosystem into which it invades is not prepared to deal with it, or is thrown entirely out of balance. So the worst animal, if it's out of its ecosystem, could be the beaver. In and of itself, it's actually fine, but beavers radically alter areas. They flood vast tracts of land to create, habitable areas for themselves. And in doing so, massively alter an ecosystem, rendering it potentially unhospitable for the animals and the biota that were there before. So human is kind of like that. Like, we had our natural sort of ecosystem on the savanna of small groups working together to hunt and gather and so forth. And then we spread out, and then our technology developed significantly, and our ability to coordinate socially increased exponentially with greater and greater abilities to coordinate through information technology and so forth, and obviously industrialization of production and everything. And then we could do things at scale like the Holocaust, atrocities, which no other animal can do because no other animal can coordinate on the level that we're at, and no other animal can take hatred and institutionalize it the way we can. And so we've done that. And that's obviously what's so terrifying about the US right now, because a lot of it is running on hatred. I mean, you look at the stuff that comes out in the right-wing memes and stuff, and a lot of it it's angry, it's nasty, it's cruel. There's a lot of cruelty coming from that camp. And then when you scale that, the ability to do genuine damage, like dispossess second-generation immigrants of their right to American citizenship because their parents were illegal, like that's cruelty at scale. And the ability to ruin lives at a huge level, and also to destroy our habitat. So obviously everyone will note that Trump pulled out of Paris Accords for the second time yesterday. So yeah, I think I would agree with that analogy, but I don't think it's at an individual level. I think it's at a species level. I mean, the worst species is us.
Now you're making me think actually that original statement is completely true, because the example I was going to give in response to what you've just said is the stoat in New Zealand, or the dog in New Zealand,
or the ship's rat.
Or the ship's rat in New Zealand, which of course caused such havoc with the indigenous wildlife that essentially half of it was rendered extinct, and the dear old kiwi just about clings on to this day, but only because it's been preserved by humans. So yes, that might be an example of the best
and
human.
School children going on massive campaigns to kill ship rats and stoats. They go off on field trips and set traps and stuff. It's quite lovely.
So, but in that analogy, can you blame the stoat? Or no, you can't, because it's the human that introduced the stoat. So ultimately, maybe it's true. We are just the worst. We're a parasitic species on the face of the earth that is eventually going to lead to its ultimate destruction. So, or our own destruction.
Unless our faculties of reason overcome our worst instincts and allow us to see what we're doing and coordinate better. But it's a dark time for anyone who believes in that, has that kind of optimism in humanity. Let's put it that way.
Well, I think we're constantly torn up between kind of the impetus for individual survival and the impetus for collective survival, and we've never quite worked out the balance between those two things, and which is obviously reflected to an extent in our politics. But that sort of tussle looks destined just to carry on into time immemorial. On which happy note,
yes,
we are probably at the point that we should turn our attentions to the matter of crosswording.
Yes, and I'd like to put a pin in one thing before we do, because I want
Please
to
do.
return to our Christmas episode and the credits thereon at the end of this episode. So let's just not forget to do that.
Okay. I also have one pin I would like to come back to at the end of the episode. So
Perfect.
If you could remind me of that, like a proverbial knot in a handkerchief, I would be grateful.
2 pins.
Well said. Okay, onwards.
Let's go to the crossword, 'cause crossing words is fun.
Guardian Quick Crossword number 17,070.
And just to correct, I think last time I gave the scores as 7-5, whereas they are in fact 8-6 or 6-8, I should say, seeing as we
Yes.
are most definitely in arrears against the setter so far this series.
We're going to get you, setter.
But today's the day, Rob. It's all going to
today's the day.
change.
You want to run down the rules quick, Theo?
I shall. So we set a 30-minute timer, and we don't see any clues in advance. We don't check anything as we go. We just stumble our way through. Is there anything else to say? I feel like that's pretty much it. Play along if you would like. We always encourage you to do that so that you get a sense of the kind of visuals of the crossword, because it can be quite hard to work it out just from our verbal clues alone. But either way, we appreciate you listening along. So I'm going to set this timer off and let's get into it. Where do you want to start, Rob?
Let's start in the middle. Let's start at 12 across. And
Maverick.
I know, Maverick. And this is a sort of moonshot, but I feel that we're not going to get it. So there it is. 12 across, the clue, because I don't even know what this word means.
I do know what it means.
Oh, okay. Well, the clue, 12 across, is 9 letters long, and the clue is Bowdlerize or Bowdlerize.
Bowdlerize. So if you Bowdlerize something, you essentially strip it of much of its meaning, and I think it stems from kind of Victorian productions of Shakespeare, where they would sort of clean up the text so that it fit with the mores of the contemporary society. So that is to Bowdlerize something, I believe.
That is excellent.
But quite what that how that could turn into.
Would like sanitize be a synonym?
Yes, sanitize is a very good suggestion.
If it took two N's, it would fit, but I don't know that it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Can we make an exception?
I wish we could. I hope I'm giving the correct definition of Bowdlerize. This is when we need Henry back, because he would definitely tell us the exact definition. I think it was. I think it's named after someone called Bowdler.
Looks like it, eh?
Who was known for such practice. But we'll check that at the end. Meanwhile, should we try and get some downs to give us?
Yeah, you throw us somewhere
to go on.
9 down, Theo. Let's go for another moonshot. 9 down.
Oh yeah, go on. 9 down.
Deduction, which is 9 letters long. A deduction.
So if you deduct something, you take away?
Yes, it could be subtraction. That's true. It could also be obviously what Sherlock Holmes does. He deduces things from.
I like your subtraction suggestion, but it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit, though.
I mean, my original suggestion of takeaway does fit.
Yeah, but would that not be too?
I think it's a single word. Actually, it doesn't fit, Rob. Forget it. Forget about it.
What's the takeaway here, Theo? Back to the 16th century and early 17th, and our old friend Shakespeare. Good word
Lovely.
here. 9 across, viscera, which is the sort of thing when someone would be eviscerated or hanged, drawn, and quartered, and you would see their viscera exposed.
Or watching or having a visceral reaction to something, which is of the stomach.
It is. And
so...
See, I was thinking entrails, but...
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's
but
good, Rob.
It doesn't fit, because unless it's singular, but I don't think you have an entrail. Viscera's plural. It's not viscerous.
Sort of guts and...
Yeah.
Oh, this is a tricky
Innards?
one today. Innards, good guess. Innards.
Yeah, that would fit.
Is it A or is it E? I think it's A.
A. Yeah, definitely A.
Okay, this might fit because 6 down is caterpillar, 5 letters, which if it is innards, has the third letter of R. So could that be larva?
Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, we've got something on the board, potentially. What about, to confirm that, 4 across is slender, 6 letters long, and with the L from larva would be in the third last position. Slender.
You immediately think slim, don't you? Or
yeah, but it's or
skinny.
Skinny, yeah. But it could be L space T, maybe, potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure larva's right, because also you would say larvae, wouldn't you?
No, caterpillar. Oh, you're right. No, larva is the singular, isn't it? Because it's larvae for plural, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, because smallest, Theo, 11 across, we would have a 5-letter long, meaning smallest, would have A as its middle letter, which could be least.
Yeah.
And then...
Good guess. 7 down, substitute 6 letters, which would have a third of S and a fifth of T. Substitute, because like swap, exchange.
Oh, wow.
God, this is not easy today.
No, this is not easy today.
So if innards is correct, 9 down, which is our deduction, now begins with I.
Yeah. Oh, like imputing or something, or...
Oh, what's the word? Inference?
Oh, yes, Theo. Yes, I think inference would be perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Are we willing to put innards in and just sort of start seeing what happens here?
I think we've got to start motoring.
Plain, Theo. If innards and least are in there, plain is a 7-letter word with the third letter an N and the fifth letter an L for plain.
And it's plain, Plain.
Correct.
So,
Oh man, I ain't seeing that.
because, yeah, again, all the words I can think of are too short, like dull or grey or
I think
something.
I think we need to go to another section entirely, Theo, because I feel like
Yeah.
if we can get a foothold somewhere that's solid and put some confident letters in, because I think none of these letters are fully confident.
Here's one for you, Rob. Bottom left, 23
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
Spliff, 6 letters.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, a joint, a marijuana cigarette, a hoolie.
A
What
doobie?
else we used to call it? Doobie. Doobie's a good one.
Doobie would fit.
Well,
But,
yeah.
because joint's too short.
Yeah.
Roll up.
Yeah, that too. That could work. Oh, dear. What about 24 across? Save, 6 letters long. I thought rescue, maybe, but then that puts us... Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, rescue works and fits.
Yeah, but I don't know that it... Well, amendment, 16 down, 6 letters long, would have an E as its last letter. I suppose an amendment could be a change, but...
I mean, Rob, at this stage, we don't
this
have
is-
anything... I think that works. A change. 19 across, malodorous.
Yeah.
7 letters beginning with N, which could be...
And potentially ending in H and 7 letters long.
Well, it could be noxious, but...
Oh, yes. But then changed...
yeah, change would be wrong, and also 20 down would then begin with X, which seems unlikely. And the
yes.
clue for 20 down is fatuous, and I can't
False.
think of any words. Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
So I think false and change are both likely to be correct. So therefore, noxious must be wrong.
In which case, friend, Theo, if false is right, then friend would start with L. It is 5 letters long, and it would end potentially in N if change is right.
So can we think of anything that's a friend,
Oh, this is savage.
It's really savage.
Yeah, we're being completely destroyed.
Malodorous. N blank F blank blank blank.
Potentially, yes. I mean, I don't know if inference is right. Maybe inference is wrong.
No,
It
maybe
feels like it
inference
should
is
be
wrong.
right. But criticism, 10 across, would have its last letter as F. How many words do you know that end in F? I mean, tariff, bailiff, things like that. But any long words like that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, this should be in my wheelhouse, criticism
I know.
being a major part of my job. But I mean, I think we've got to think fairly literally about it. Like, what's a word for when you question someone's ability to do something? A slight or something. But I can't think of anything that ends in F.
I can't think of anything that ends in S, in F.
Okay, let's get somewhere completely different. 21 across, blasphemous, 7 letters. And if inference is correct, and that is a very big if,
I think we have to take inference. I can't think of any other word that's going to fit there, and it goes with innards. And I think we have to commit to something. So let's just commit to it and come
let's
what
keep
may.
it for now, unless we get a very, very clear...
Profane, Theo. Huh?
Oh,
Blasphemous? What do you think?
yeah, I like that. I really like that. I think
Okay.
it has to be that, which does fit with inference.
Yes, it does. I think we have to commit to inference. So a cache is 18 down, 5 letters long, middle letter O. A cache.
So surely that's a store.
Yes, I think so.
So that would make doobie wrong, but that's no surprise.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What about coin, Theo? 15 down, 6 letters long, 4th letter P. Coin. So coin could be like to coin a phrase, or it could be a coin such as a penny or a shilling or some form of specie in circulation.
Over Christmas, I had a conversation with my in-laws about the old currency system and how nuts it was. Like the old British
Yeah.
currency system.
Yeah.
You know, shillings and pence, and they kept mentioning all these words which, which meant very specific amounts of money, like a crown, obviously, and a half crown, and a threepenny, and a halfpenny. And I mean, it just the more you heard about it, the more lost you became, and you thought, how on earth did anyone think this was a sensible way to carry on? But then we came to the conclusion that maybe that was the whole point. It was deliberately baffling because it it kept people in employment for a start.
And it gave children things to work on in their maths.
But God, being a shopkeeper in those days must have been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, completely.
No, but going back to the point, I can't think of any of those terms that we talked about that would fit.
No.
Coin. So a coin, I mean, there is only one word for coin. Unless it is to coin a phrase. As
yeah, exactly. Well, let's move away from that. Let's look at excerpt, 13 down. 7 letters long. Third last letter is an A. An excerpt. I guess it could be an outtake, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good guess. And it fits.
Yeah.
Fits with profane.
Yep.
And it gives Bowdlerize now has a third letter of O.
Yeah, I don't know about that, though. Oh, I don't know. Oh, reefer.
A reefer.
Reefer madness. I just saw the E there.
I knew you were going to get that.
How did you know I was going to get that, Theo?
I don't know, Rob. I don't know why that came to my mind. Now, hang on. 15 down. So coin now has a fourth letter of P and ends in R.
Correct.
So it must be, do we think, P-E-R?
Yeah.
What on earth?
I have no clue.
Something like keeper?
Yeah.
Or is it some sort of ancient slang that we just don't know? Like a weeper? Got myself a handful of weepers. No. Okay, let's keep moving. If we can get 17 across, that would help. Which is haven, 5 letters. Third letter S, fifth letter T.
Oasis.
Haven. Okay, so outtake is wrong then.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't even put it in, to be honest.
Right.
I'm gonna full disclosure. It felt wrong.
Okay.
Because it feels like it should be 2 words.
Yeah.
So an excerpt now has space S, space A, space E. An excerpt. What a copper? A copper for a coin? For a penny?
Good guess.
Isn't that sort of like very good Dickensian? Like you'd have some sort of street urchin ask for a copper from.
Excuse me, sir. Could I just take a look at your coppers?
Yeah,
oh, lovely they are too. Yeah, nice handkerchief you got there too, mister.
Very Eric Idle sort of.
Why, thank you.
Cockney.
Yes, born to be a Victorian street urchin. So now 13 down, our excerpt now, as you've just spelled out, has a third letter of S, fifth letter of A, and a final letter of E. So could that be an A-N-E at the end, do we think?
Yes, it could also be G-E. It could be
G-E.
V. Could it be V?
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could get this Bowdlerize because that would really open things up.
Yeah. Is it a form of censorship? Is it a form of...
We have 12 minutes left, by the way, just to...
Oh, okay. So I for some reason I thought we had less. What about 2 down, Theo? 7 letters long for trudge.
Yeah, this crossword's been a trudge.
Yeah, it has been a trudge.
So a word that we mentioned last time is traipse.
Yes.
Which does fit. It shares the first 2 letters with trudge, which I don't like, but...
Could our Bowdlerize be exp something? Like expiate or ex...
Oh, yes. Expurgate.
But we have our R. I don't think that would work. We exp, but there's an R in there.
Yeah, E-X-P-U-R, gate.
Expurgate, U-R-G.
Yeah.
I think, yes, that makes sense to me.
Does that work? I'm not 100% on the definition of expurgate, so
because
why not?
Like purge.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
at
yes.
this point.
That does make more sense. Yeah.
I don't think we have a choice right now.
No.
I think we have to go. And then look, affecting, which is 14 down, taking the E from expurgate. What a great get. Would start with E, and it is a word for affecting. Could it be like emoting or emotional?
It's very affecting. It's very...
Emotive.
Yeah, emotive.
What do you think?
Which makes rescue wrong.
Yes.
That would make 24 across. Save would now have a blank E, blank E, blank E, which feels strange.
Relieve. Oh no, it doesn't shoot. The E doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Almost, though. And what about 22 across? Friend. 5 letters. L blank I blank N.
Yeah, that's if false is right.
Yeah, that's if that's true. Let's clear false.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like N something F for our malodorous.
Oh, Rob.
I'm with you, man.
I don't think we're... This just feels...
Well, let's just clean up here a bit. Our
Okay.
excerpt is P space S space A space E. Excerpt.
Oh,
like
a passage.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well done,
Yeah?
Theo. Yeah, that's really good. If expurgate is right...
I think we can breathe easy on expurgate. I think it's got to be that.
Yeah.
Which fits with everything else we've got around it.
Plain. Oh, I got it. 5 down. Plain is 7 letters long. Space N space L space A. And I think it's vanilla.
That is an excellent guess. Which gives our 4 across slender blank V blank L blank blank.
Yeah.
Svelte.
Oh, what a great word, Theo. Is it SVELDT or no?
TE.
TE, svelte.
Svelte. It's Scandinavian, isn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense. And
And
then
substitute 7 down is now E blank S blank T blank.
yeah.
Which
Substitute.
That's tricky.
I know.
I keep thinking in sporting terms, like if you send the substitute
Yeah.
onto the pitch. Let's come back to it.
Okay.
We've got plenty of other fires to fight.
We have courage, 1 across. We haven't even looked at that. We haven't had the courage
No.
to open it yet. So courage is 6 letters long, and we have none of them. Courage, I mean, you have bravery, but that doesn't fit.
Encore. 8 across.
Oh.
5 letters, third letter of A. Must be bravo.
Oh, yes. Is it third letter of A?
Yes. Yeah. Bravo.
Okay.
Oh, from Trapes. Yeah, third letter of A.
What about again, though? That would fit too. Like encore, again. Because bravo is not necessarily an encore.
yeah.
It's just well done.
Do you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. I was just thinking they so often go together, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean they mean the same thing.
Oh,
You're right. It's
courage,
again.
the third letter is T, and I think it's an excellent Shakespearean word, I think. Could it
Go
be metal?
Oh,
METTLE?
I love that,
Oh,
Rob.
and then 1 down, we got to go fast. M space A, space. 6 letters for scanty. Could be meager with the G.
Gotta be.
Or,
I love it when you go on these rolls, Rob.
jargon is L space N space. Lingo.
Yes, lingo. Absolutely lingo.
And then our criticism is R space P space O space F. Oh, I got it.
Go
It's
on.
a very another Shakespearean word, not criticism in the sense of like a critic, but just criticism of someone's character or their behavior. It was a stern reproof.
Reproof.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's that done. Substitute 7 letters down, 7 down, E space S space T
5
space.
minutes left.
Substitute E space S space T space.
Right. That's going to be one I think we should save to the end.
Okay.
And we can really hone in on it and think about all the different words.
Our fatuous.
So we just need to fill in this bottom right. So this
is
malodorous.
Is fatuous just false? Isn't it? You kind of know you're bullshitting, like.
Yes, I mean it is, but does that fit with our? Yeah, let's. I mean that takes us back to the problem of 24 across having 3 E's.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and get 19 across. Let's try and get malodorous
Okay.
because that will give us the first letter of that. So N blank possibly F, blank O, blank H. Malodorous.
Possibly H. I'm not willing to commit to
Possibly.
that one
I
yet.
still like noxious,
Yeah,
but I
but
cannot think.
of what word would start with X? Fatuous.
Yeah.
Starting with X, yeah. We also have friend, which is...
Phony fits for fatuous.
Okay, that kind
Just
of...
throwing a little other option into the mix.
Yeah.
And then 22 across friend would be O blank I blank N.
Oh, what about this for fatuous?
Go
What
on.
about inane?
Yeah.
Would that work?
That fits.
And malodorous, I don't know if this works for malodorous, but could be noisome, because if it's N-O-I space
Yeah.
O space space space.
Noisome.
That's a word, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Because you say, in French,
I'll very happily go with it.
you say nocif for something that's smelly. Like
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying here.
So what could 16 down then be, which is amendment?
It would have an E as its second letter and it's 6 letters long. I mean, I don't know about noisome. It's just a guess, but...
I don't know that word, but I mean, it would mean save, rescue. Actually, no, rescue's not on the table
Because
anymore,
emotive.
is it?
No. R-E space E space space.
This is frustrating. 2 minutes left.
Okay, so friend, let's do a quick review. Friend, A space I space space for friend. Amigo?
Lovely.
Gotta be, eh? So amendment, something ort, like a report. Amendment is like a document or like an edit.
Oh, what do you do when you put a note on a document that you it's got to be something.
Yeah, okay.
Remove? No.
Could be.
I mean, remove does fit, but again, we get our triple E issue at the bottom. Save, blank E, blank blank.
Amendment,
Okay, you concentrate on those, Rob. I'm going to just go back up to substitute.
Okay. Save.
45 seconds left.
Oh, no.
E, blank, S, blank, T, blank, N, stay. Just making up words now. Oh,
Reform.
this is painful. Reform!
Okay, save R-E space E space M. Save. Redeem. Okay, so all we have is
Redeem.
this. Substitute E space S space T
Okay.
space. Ah! Oh.
That's the timer. So I did put a word in, which
Okay,
is
what you got?
definitely not right.
All right.
And I can't even say it because it's not a word.
Oh.
Ensity.
we got
Ensaty.
Oh,
So we got this down to 1, and it's substitute. Can you see anything there?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I mean, what letters could even go between an E
Well
and
done
an
for
S?
getting reform and redeem.
An A could go there, but then E's
Well, that's why I thought it must be.
substitute.
Should we put ourselves out of our misery
Just 2 seconds.
and just get? Come on, Rob.
Oh, it's just so annoying to me. No.
I tell you the issue with this crossword today. It's the number of single word clues.
Yes.
If you look down the list of clues, they are all single word clues.
Correct.
And that makes for a very difficult crossword because
It does.
Because inherently they're very broad clues.
Yeah.
You know, all of these words have multiple synonyms. So this has been a really tough one.
It's been incredibly difficult.
If we could get substitute, I'd be tempted to give ourselves a free pass, but
Yeah.
I don't think we can see it, can we?
I substitute probably an N, maybe like N something. I don't.
Well, yeah, that's where ensity came from.
Oh, that's where entity came from.
An ensign? That doesn't mean, and it
No,
doesn't fit.
because technically I have a T as the second last letter.
I'm just going to reveal it, Rob.
Yeah, do it.
Do you know what it is?
Is it gettable?
Ersatz.
Oh, my Lord. Ersatz. Okay, I don't feel bad today. Ersatz.
I think that is an absolutely rotten clue.
Oh, it's
I'm
quite
sorry.
something. Ersatz? What about the rest? Let's check the rest.
Right, I'm Googling ersatz.
All right. And I'm going to reveal everything and see if we got everything.
Yeah, no, it does. It does mean substitute, to be fair.
Okay, well.
But I think I just thought it meant like, inferior. So something is like an ersatz chocolate or whatever.
Yeah, like a poor man's.
Yeah, a poor man's whatever, rather than a substitute. Ersatz, Rob.
Oh,
this is so frustrating. Because I think everything else is right. I'm just gonna double check. So yeah, we got everything right apart from ersatz.
Yep.
Oh, so close.
Ça fait mal.
So close. Can I just say, get of the day, noisome. That is excellent.
That was just reaching. But I just thought because in French, as I said, nocif is a word for something that's toxically stinky or sort of, I think it is. Let me just look at that. Maybe I'm making that up. Anyway.
I'm also going to look up Bowdlerize just so I have not misled our listeners. Yeah, so it does mean remove material that is considered improper or offensive from an account. And if I just look up the background, it does come from Thomas Bowdler's 1818 edition of William Shakespeare's plays, which he reworked in ways that he felt were more suitable for women and children. Oh, God bless the Victorians. Or not quite Victorians, because that was pre-Victoria, but nevertheless, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Rob.
So let's just dig into noisome, because I feel like if anyone's listening to this and has been for the last several dozen episodes, they like words like us. So I feel that we can dig into noisome and where it comes from. So noisome, noxious or harmful, offensive to the senses and especially to the sense of smell, highly obnoxious or objectionable. This is according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So apparently while noisome sounds like noisy, it's not, because the root word is noi, as in what comes from annoy, added to some, and it is from the Middle English noisome spelt with a Y, characterized by a specific thing and an annoyance, also related to the Latin word nausea.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good word. Word of the week. So your
Definitely
challenge, dear
word of the
listeners, is to get that into your conversation this week.
Yeah.
And
for instance, when you're changing a diaper or something along those lines.
Along with ersatz.
Yeah.
But I'm cross with ersatz because we didn't get it. So I might be ignoring that this week. But nevertheless, well done. Otherwise, though, I have to say, I mean, you did sterling work there, considering at the halfway point we were barely a third of the way through the clues. And we got very close. I
felt it was one that was going to come together all of a sudden. Because as you say, the clues were so ambiguous that we needed letters to be able to sort of situate them. And we got one or two, and then all of a sudden you kind of had a sense of what the word might be. So there it is. So should we hit our pins?
Let's hit the pins. Pins.
Crosswords done. That was fun. Now let's have a chat.
You want to go first?
Sure. My pin was just a metaphorical raising of the glass to my beloved grandmother, Eva Ibbotson, who was born 100 years ago today in Vienna, and is, as some listeners will know, was a very esteemed author of books both for children and adults, but of course to me is fundamentally my grandmother, and I have such fond memories of her and her warmth and wit and humour and charm, and I miss her terribly, and just wanted to sort of acknowledge that today because it feels like a a significant milestone, I think.
And was your grandma part of your life growing up?
Huge part of my life, because she lived in Newcastle, and we lived about a 40 minute drive up the Northumbrian coast. So
Okay.
we used to go and see her pretty much every weekend in my memory, and I would go and sit in her writing room while she would regale us with her stories, which, as you can imagine, were well worth listening to.
Would she read to you from her stories?
No, not really. She wasn't in any way. She never. There was never even a particular pressure to read them. You know, I mean, we did because we wanted to, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that sort of thing of, oh, you must read your grandmother's revered books, which have just won all these awards because they're, you know, she's such a genius. It was just, she was just our grandmother, and she happened to write books. And now she's gone, I appreciate so much that she left that body of work behind, because it means, you know, we have a way of sort of still enjoying her view of the world and her warmth and her wit and all of that wonderful stuff that makes her her. But at the time, yeah, she was just my
Just
grandmother.
gran.
And I used to call her Bieber, because I don't know why, but I think it was a sort of childish variation of Eva, and she was always Bieber or Biebs to us. So yeah. Anyway, here's to her.
Yeah. Happy 100th.
Happy 100th, indeed. What's your pin?
So it's a quick pin just to go back to our Christmas episode, and I'd meant to do it in our last one, but I'd forgotten. But I just wanted to return to the band that provided the music that wrote us out of our Christmas episode, Spinning Jenny. And it's actually just Spinning Jenny, not the Spinning Jennies. So I wanted to correct that. So if anyone was looking for Spinning Jenny, that's the name that you want to look for. And they are an American band. They're sisters. And they have absolutely amazing voices. I listened to a bunch of their music after Theo had played that, because we played that Christmas song quite a lot in our household after hearing it. And I just wanted to thank them for sharing that with us, because after the episode, I reached out to them on Facebook just to see if they would give permission for us to use their song, which I think is the appropriate thing to do. I'm an artist myself, and I appreciate when people reach out if they want to use my music. And they were lovely and really gracious, and were absolutely thrilled for us to use their song, provided a file by email for us to play so that we had a good high fidelity copy to play for everybody. So I just wanted to reach out, and if everyone's looking for them, it's Spinning Jenny. Give a look on Google, give a look on YouTube. They got a whole ton of videos, and they're absolutely lovely people who are great musicians and sing spectacularly. So I just wanted to thank them again.
Here.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly endorse that shout out, and I realised on after listening to our Christmas episode that I not only referred to them as Spinning Jennies incorrectly, but I also said, oh, I couldn't find that much of their music online. And then I actually had a proper look after the show and realised there is a lot of their music online, and they are absolutely fabulous. And I think they are a band that definitely merit a higher profile, and they're clearly hugely talented. So yeah, big shout out to them. Do go and seek out their stuff, and yeah, show your support. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Rob. And a shout out to you, Rob, as always, for your musical contributions to the show, which I know we tend to mention in the credits every week, but I do just want to draw attention to that and say how grateful I am as your co-host to be able to sort of, you know, lean on that ability you have and all of those wonderful tunes and jingles that you bring to Two Across, because I think they're such a big part of the show. And
Well,
yeah, go and look
thanks,
Rob
Theo.
up as well. And can I just say on that note, we always say in the credits, oh, check out Enthusiasts on Spotify, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that checks out, because I searched Enthusiasts on Spotify and I couldn't find you. So tell me where I should be looking.
Yeah, I mean, it is there on Spotify. I think the big problem is that it's so deep down the algorithm hole that even if you search with its proper name, it's going to give you something else. So it's Enthusiasts, as Enthuse, IASTS. However, as I say, it's pretty tough. Maybe the best thing to search for would be, I actually released an album at the end of November called Aviary, AVIARY, which... if you look at Enthusiasts Aviary, you'll definitely see that come up.
Bro, all right. Well, thank you for clearing that one up. And shall we bid farewell to our dear listeners? One of whom, by the way, I've just seen this morning Rosie, who I gave a shout out to a couple of episodes ago because she quite rightly corrected our wicked blunder. So, big shout out to Rosie, and a big shout out to anyone that takes the time to listen to our show, because we are hugely grateful for your company week in, week out, and we are now hopefully back on schedule to release an episode every week. So do join us for the next one. And as ever, you can get in touch with us on twoacrosspod@gmail.com, or you can find us on X with the same handle, twoacrosspod. And enjoy your week, whatever it may bring. Thanks for lending us your ears, and see you next time. Bye bye.